If you've ever owned, or maybe just dreamed of owning, one of those iconic vintage Tamiya kits,
Yeah.
the frog, the grasshopper, maybe the lunchbox or midnight pumpkin,
Oh, yeah. Absolute legends.
they really are. But anyone who's handled one recently knows they share that common, frustrating problem. The ABS plastic. It gets so incredibly brittle over time.
It really does. Almost turns to dust sometimes.
So we love these Tamiya legends, but they've got this kind of notorious issue. What's actually happening, like chemically, that makes the plastic degrade? And maybe more importantly, what can we actually do about it?
Right. How do we keep them running?
Exactly. So this deep dive, it's really your shortcut to understanding that vintage RC restoration, making sure these classics can keep going for decades.
Okay, so let's get into the material itself. ABS, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. It was, a pretty brilliant choice for Tamiya back then.
What was that?
Well, it had that perfect mix, good chemical resistance from the acrylonitrile, toughness from the butadiene, and rigidity from the styrene. Great for detailed bodies, sturdy chassis, seemed ideal.
But that's also its weakness, somehow.
Kind of, yeah. The chemistry that made it great also dictates how it breaks down. And it's fascinating, but also a bit, heartbreaking for collectors.
How so?
Well, first off, there's photooxidation. You might think keeping your model indoors is safe. Well,
Yeah, out with the sun.
sure, direct sun is bad, but even the fluorescent lights in your workshop, over years, they're slowly breaking down those polymer chains. That's what gives you that brittle potato chip feel.
Wow, okay. Didn't realize indoor lights were that aggressive.
It's slow but relentless.
Uh,
Then there's chemical attack, which is kind of this weird restoration paradox.
Paradox.
Yeah, because sometimes the things you use to clean or restore your model can actually speed up the damage, like certain panel line thinners or even aggressive degreasers. Concentrated simple green, for instance.
Really? How?
They can strip out the plasticizers, the essential oils within the plastic itself, making it more brittle, faster.
Yeah.
You're trying to help, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's definitely something to watch out for. And before we talk fixes, there's this thing I've heard about boiling parts. You can't do that with ABS, right? Why not?
Absolutely not. Big mistake for ABS. See, nylon parts, which are semi-crystalline, can reabsorb water when boiled, regaining some flex.
Wait, I've done that.
But ABS is an amorphous polymer. It doesn't have that crystalline structure. Boiling it just causes it to soften, warp, deform permanently. You'll just ruin the part. Simple as that.
Good to know. Definitely avoid boiling ABS. Okay, so we know what damages it. But if you're holding like a cracked chassis right now, what's the real way to fix it? Not just a patch job.
Right. You want a proper, strong repair. The answer is solvent welding.
Solvent welding. Sounds serious.
It is, in a good way. It's not glue, which just, sticks surfaces. A solvent, like Tamiya cement for ABS, actually dissolves the plastic surfaces slightly.
Dissolves them.
Just temporarily. Enough for the polymer chains on both sides of the crack to mingle, to intermix. Then when the solvent evaporates, they fuse together. It becomes one solid piece again, a molecular bond. Often it's as strong as the original plastic.
Okay, so for clean cracks, you mentioned Tamiya cement for ABS.
Yeah,
Item 87137.
spot on. That's formulated specifically for ABS. You just hold the pieces together tightly, apply the thin cement to the seam, and capillary action pulls it right into the crack, welds it from the inside.
Nice. But what about bigger gaps? Or like a broken corner?
Ah, okay, now for the real restorer's secret weapon, making your own ABS slurry.
ABS slurry, you mean?
Ah.
Making your own filler.
Exactly. You dissolve scrap ABS plastic, maybe from a sprue or a ruined part, in acetone. You can control the consistency.
How does that work?
Well, for hairline cracks or reinforcing seams, you can make a thin mix, maybe 1 gram of ABS to 10 milliliters of acetone. Kind of like ABS juice. It wicks right in. But for filling gaps, rebuilding corners, or adding thickness to hidden areas for strength, you make a thicker paste. Say, 5 grams of ABS to 10 milliliters of acetone. Apply it in thin layers, letting each one cure. Builds up really strong.
That sounds incredibly useful. Acetone, though, need to be careful, right?
Oh, definitely. Good ventilation is key. Chemical-resistant gloves, like nitrile. And use glass or metal containers because acetone will melt many plastics. Safety first, always.
Right. So, okay, we can weld, we can make slurry, but what if a part is just totally gone, lost to the ages, shattered beyond repair?
Yeah, that's where things get really exciting now, thanks to the digital frontier. 3D printing.
Ah, yes. This has changed things for vintage hobbies, hasn't it?
Massively. Suddenly, those parts that have been out of production for 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
You can potentially just fabricate a new one. Sites like Cults 3D or Thingiverse, you can often find files people have already designed.
Right.
Solves the scarcity problem.
That's amazing. But isn't 3D printed stuff sometimes not as strong?
That's where the real power comes in. It's not just about replacing the part, it's about printing it from better, modern materials.
Better how?
Well, think about suspension arms or gear covers. You could print replacements in nylon, like PA12. It's got fantastic toughness, much better impact resistance than the original ABS might have had.
Okay, so tougher than original.
Exactly. And if you need ultimate strength and stiffness, maybe for shock towers, chassis braces, gearbox cases, those high-stress areas, you can go for carbon fiber nylon or PACF.
Carbon fiber nylon.
Yeah. It's incredibly strong, rigid, durable. Parts made from PACF can often significantly outperform the original Tamiya parts. You're not just restoring, you're upgrading.
Wow. So repair, replace, even upgrade.
Mm.
But it would be nice to avoid needing major surgery in the first place.
What about preservation? How do we keep these models from getting brittle to begin with? That's the curator mindset, right? And it's crucial. First, strategic storage. Think stable, cool, dry. Avoid attics, garages, temperature swings are bad, and crucially, keep them out of all UV light, not just direct sun, even indirect light from a window over time.
Okay, stable and dark. What else?
Stress-free positioning. This is a big one. Don't just leave the car sitting on its wheels long term.
Why not?
It puts constant stress on the suspension components, leading to fatigue and potential cracking. Plus, your tires will get flat spots. Use stands or blocks to take the weight off the wheels and suspension.
Makes sense. And cleaning. We mentioned harsh chemicals are bad.
Right. Stick to gentle maintenance. Mild soap and water is usually all you need. Avoid those aggressive degreasers or any petroleum-based solvents. And finally, just inspect them regularly. Catching a tiny hairline crack early is much easier than dealing with a part that snaps later.
So storage, positioning, gentle cleaning, regular checks. Got it.
That's the essence of preservation.
Okay, so we've really covered a lot. From understanding why that old ABS gets fragile, to the science of solvent welding, making our own fillers, the whole world of 3D printing better parts, and now, how to prevent damage in the first place.
Yeah, it's quite the journey. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the goal here isn't just about bringing these amazing machines back to how they were.
What is it then?
It's about giving you the knowledge, the techniques, to make them potentially stronger, more resilient than they ever were originally. It's about ensuring these iconic vehicles, these pieces of history, can keep running, keep inspiring, well, for generations to come.
Making them stronger than new. I like the sound of that. Imagine the stories those rebuilt legends could tell.